second selection is the stage of the BLUELOCK project that shortened the players in the program down to the size that we know of today. One of those people who was eliminated during the stage was Naruhiya, who after losing the 2v2 match against Isagi was disqualified from the future of the project and was sent home. But what if Isagi was the one who lost in the second selection match and Naruhiya survived? How would the story have changed? Now this video was requested by this guy on one of my previous videos, and while there were a ton of other good ideas that I will be getting to eventually, this video idea in particular was so unique that I just had to do it. But remember, if you have an idea that you would like to see get turned into a video, just leave me a comment down below and it'll probably happen. Now this video will be covering everything that happens after the second selection match with Burū and Naruhiya, so if you're not caught up to the latest chapters of the new Egoist League, being chapter 246 as I'm writing the script, I would just suggest clicking off this video now because there will be spoilers. So starting with where the match would have been changed is right here where Naruhiya emulated Isagi's direct shot, except in this scenario, Naruhiya would have scored, bringing Burū and him the win. Now obviously Isagi wouldn't have been taken, which would result in Nagi being stolen, with Isagi getting sent to the wild card. The following match would probably be against Shigiri, Kunigami, and Ryo, like in the original story due to Ryo's ambition of wanting to defeat Nagi and steal him back. And without Isagi, this would result in Team Red winning, with Nagi being stolen, and having Burū and Naruhiya sent right back to where they were in the 2v2 stage. Now due to Ryo and Kunigami not being sent down there, it'd make the most sense that Burū and Naruhiya would face off against Shiro and Ikiguri. Now in the most realistic scenario, Burū would get stolen, as his kingly mindset as well as his incredibly strong middle shot would result in Shiro taking notice and stealing him, sending Naruhiya to the wild card. However, due to Naruhiya obviously losing in the wild card to Kunigami in the main story, as well as Kunigami's explanation as to what the wild card is, there's no chance that he would survive that. So in this instance, we're going to say that Naruhiya gets stolen and Burū gets sent to the wild card. Meaning rather than Ryo getting stolen, we're just going to say that Naruhiya passed the second selection with Shiro's team. Now whether or not that Burū was sent to the wild card or Naruhiya was, the outcome of this alternative timeline would not change, as the result would be the same with either player being sent there, so having Naruhiya survive doesn't change much. But now let's shift back to the other four in the story, being Nagi, Ryo, Kunigami, and Shigiri. Due to Nagi's loss with Isagi, he would most likely revert back to working with Ryo, and because of the matchup, Kunigami never gets sent to the wild card, and Bachara never awakens during the 4v4 match due to Isagi not inspiring him to be more. So already you have the limiting of 5 characters due to Isagi's absence, including Burū, who will improve just slightly differently because, again, if he survives the wild card, then he's coming back different. You also have to consider Rin's experience, as Isagi was the only player in the second selection to annoy him and actually defeat him once. However, I personally doubt this experience changes anything, and it's the U20 match that really affected Rin and his relationship with Isagi. Now assuming that every other player who made it past the second selection also passed in this alternative timeline, excluding Isagi and Burū, replacing them with Naruhiya and Kunigami, we'd have to think about how these newly evolved players would act. Well, first off, when looking at the teams in the third selection, my best guess would be that Kunigami would go to Team C with Nagi, and Naruhiya would go to Team A with Rin. Nagi is probably the best player in the stratum that he was in, and considering that this is superhero Kunigami, he probably would choose to work with a player who he has some experience playing against. As for Naruhiya, similarly to Ikiguri, his teaming with Burū shows his preference for teaming with strong players, so he would probably join Rin and Shiro's team given the opportunity. Now looking at the U20 arc, this is where the hypothetical scenario stops. See, without Isagi's continued evolution in BLUELOCK, along with his pushing of other players, Ryo wouldn't have unlocked his copy style, Bachara wouldn't have entered his flow state, Nagi wouldn't have unlocked the motivation to score his jumping goal, and Burū wouldn't have awakened his villainous soccer style to score as well. Meaning in this instance, many of the key players during the game are essentially useless against a Shiro inside chemical reaction. However, just for gits and shiggles, just assuming the formation, Kunigami would most likely take over in the offensive midfielder spot for Isagi, and Hiyori would probably steal Bachara's spot. Ryo most likely would not be switched in due to his lack of chameleon style, and while Bachara's dribbling is impressive, unawakened Bachara is in no way beating Yukimiya in a dribble contest. So with Hiyori's passes being better than Bachara's, he would obviously be the better option. It's also likely that Zantetsu would be subbed in eventually, giving the team a double speedster offense, which would be a very deadly combination. However, no matter what, I really see no way that the BLUELOCK 11 could ever defeat the U20 team without their awakened abilities, which only happen thanks to Isagi's existence on the field. So without Isagi, this story just doesn't happen. But those are just my assumptions. What do you guys think? I had a ton of fun making this video, and if you guys have any more ideas, leave them down below in the comments. And for the question of the video, what player do you think deserves game time that we haven't seen play yet? Leave me your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching, like and subscribe for more content just like this.